This podcast has been brought to you by SeekersGuidance, the global Islamic seminary. Help us spread the light of prophetic guidance to millions around the world by becoming a monthly supporter. Make a small donation at SeekersGuidance.org/donate. For as little as $10 a month, you can help people find life-changing guidance.
How can I be hopeful in these troubled times? How can I be hopeful in these troubled times that things seem so negative, so difficult, there's tragedy and loss and devastation? There are two ways to look at this world, right? If you just look at this world insofar as it is something creating, it is depressing. Because this life will perish, you will perish, nothing you gain in this life will remain, everyone you know will perish. Right? So dunya, this worldly life, in that sense, is khusr. It is loss. Everything about it is loss. But there's another way of looking at life, which is هذا خلق الله. Right? This is the creating of Allah. And the possibility in creation and all that happens to you and around you is seeking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, seeking His love, seeking His closeness, seeking His good pleasure, seeking the eternal reward with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in that sense, it is all light and possibility of light. As one of the great poets said, إذا ما رأيت الله في الكل فاعلا رأيت جميع الكائنات ملاحا. If you see Allah in all things, the actor, you see all created things seemingly. وإذا ما رأيت سوى مظاهر فعله صيرت الملاح قباحا. But if all you see is the traces, the vestiges of Allah's action, then you will render the beautiful ugly. Right? So the believer sees that beauty is not in things, but in their consequences. In that sense, the beautiful can be ugly, and the ugly be beautiful. Right? And that is what the Sunnah, which is described in the Quran as being al-hikmah, wisdom, shows us how to see the consequences of matters. So our hope is not in gaining good things. That's not hope. Our hope is in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? That whatever comes to us, whatever surrounds us, we ask ourselves the question, how do I seek the pleasure of God? And then we pursue it. And our hope is not in our ability to pursue the good, nor in our attaining the good. Our hope is in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because our hope is seeking the good from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the complete certitude that if we seek it, He will grant us His good pleasure. It doesn't necessarily mean we'll attain the things that we wanted. You wanted health, you got sick. You prayed for a good job, you didn't get a job. You failed every exam you wrote. You try to get up for tahajjud, you miss it. Do you lose hope? No. Because hope is to seek the good with certitude that God will grant you His good pleasure. What is our duty? Our duty is to sincerely seek and to sincerely strive with certitude in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in that sense, in troubled times, we ask ourselves the critical question: what does Allah seek from me in the circumstances He has placed me in? So identify, what am I supposed to do in my life? What am I supposed to do for the sake of others? And then we strive to take the best of means in the best of ways towards it, knowing that we fall short, with complete trust in Allah. And if you are seeking what is pleasing to Allah as best you can, and strive as best you can, with as much sincerity as you can muster for the sake of Allah, then Allah has promised that He will guide us and He will grant us. Right? So that's why the believer does not ever lose hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hope is cultivated by reading the book of hope, the Quran, by looking at the messenger of hope, who at every moment, his state uttered the reality he expressed in the cave to Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, لا تحزن إن الله معنا. Do not worry, do not be sorry, do not grieve, for truly Allah is with us. Right? It is also important when you read the Quran to read the stories of the prophets. This life is not meant to be comfortable. Right? As one of the righteous said, طلب الراحة في السجن من أمان النفوس. Right? Seeking comfort in prison is from the delusion of the self. Right? This world is like a prison, as the Prophet ﷺ said. Right? It is the exam room. To think that in the exam room it's going to be nice and comfortable and cushy, and no, it's an exam room. You're writing an exam. You're going to have stress. You probably don't have enough time. You probably wish for all kinds of things that you won't get in the exam. But why do you do the exam? For what comes after. Right? But this is not like a worldly exam, because the one who's examining you is merciful to you. And He is with you in the exam. He has told you the answers to the questions. Right? So, hope is cultivated, right, by reflective recitation of the Quran. Look at the lives of the prophets. Look at the life of our beloved Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? Reflect on Allah's blessings. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us of the nature of tests in the Quran. He describes it as being touched by it. وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ. We will surely test you with something, مِنَ الْخَوْفِ, with something from fear, and something of diminishment of your lives and wealth and your fruits. Right? You'll be tested by that. إِنْ يَمْسَسْكُمْ. If Allah touches you with some distress, He just touches you with it. Why? Because in any situation, let's say you got sick, you got pneumonia, you got COVID, whatever you got. Okay, you have this condition, but if you think about yourself, you exist. What's the alternative? Not to exist. It's a good deal to be existent rather than non-existent. Yeah, but you not only exist, you are alive. Because you could just be a stone, but you're alive. That's a gift. Not only you're alive, but Allah has honored you to be a human being. لَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. And you're not only a human being, you are a believer. You have faith. Not only do you have faith, you have guidance. You have the Quran. You have the example of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah has granted you knowledge. He has shown you the way. And you have loads of other good. Because yeah, you may have a certain health condition, but your heart is still beating. You are still breathing in air. You are enveloped in countless layers of spiritual and material, tangible and intangible good. And you have, above all, you have God. O Lord, what has any lost who has found you? And what has any gained if they have lost you? So how can a believer not have hope? Good company helps having hope. Right? The ulama mention that if you keep the company of the people of Allah, you feel that this world and its worries are a speck in your ocean of consciousness. Whereas if you keep the company of the worldly, you feel like a speck in the ocean of worldly concerns. So that's why one of the ways of cultivating hope is keep the company of the hopeful. Who do you listen to online? Right? Be connected with scholars of guidance. Look at what they are telling us about and what are they calling us to. And not just people who are, making noise online, but people who are spreading guidance online. And make those your priorities. And sometimes too much worldliness, even too much worldly news, can be a burden and weigh down on our hope. That's a little bit of what we can mention regarding how can we have hope in these times.
Thank you for listening. This podcast was brought to you by SeekersGuidance, the Global Islamic Seminary. Visit SeekersGuidance.org to access reliable Islamic knowledge taught by qualified teachers. We offer a wide range of courses, podcasts, articles, and a world-class answer service. Support us in spreading free, reliable Islamic knowledge to millions around the world by becoming a monthly supporter. Visit SeekersGuidance.org/donate and make a small monthly commitment today. Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "Whoever guides someone to goodness will have a similar reward." So don't forget to share this podcast and spread prophetic guidance.